relevant and common. Um, One thing guys don't realize, here's a typical girl's day. She wakes up alone. She's got a commute. She's got coffee at Starbucks or wherever she's doing it. She's got an email job. She's like all day. She's like taking orders from other people, maybe texting her girlfriends. Lunch, she might have lunch alone. She might have lunch at her desk. A lot of girls just, have to stay there so they can answer the phone while everybody else is out at something interesting. They got another hour commute home. She's probably not going to work out because less than 1% of the population exercises. So, in your head, she's going to work out like you do, but they don't because most girls are congenitally lazy. She watches TV, plays on her phone. She goes to bed. You have to realize that girls lives are incredibly boring, and you're the most interesting thing she'll see all day. You have to realize that that's why we say you've got the number one sin when it comes to gaming women is to be boring, because her life is boring as it is. She hates boring men. She's got her parents are boring. Her friends are boring. Her last boyfriend was boring. Everything's boring. And if and this is the strangest thing. So you have to bring the fun. Girls just want to have fun. And if you can bring that, they'll pretty much ignore everything else and let you do what you want. Just have some fun. That's the real deal. And it's funny because like yesterday, I live like a mile from my gym and so I ride my bike. And there's all of these retail spots on the sidewalk. And I'm riding down the sidewalk and I go past like 3 or 4. One's like a med spa. One's like, where you can pick up like pre-made meals. There's a couple they're all, and one's a financial advisor. But in every one of them, there was a girl sitting at the desk doing this. 4 girls in like one block, just bored to tears. And it reminded me of this. I mean, that they're like, God, can this day just be over? Most girls, the vast majority, are bored. And yeah, some of them can be boring too. And that's not your problem. I mean, you try to filter those out. But understand that girls do not live like we do. They don't have the impetus to action. They don't initiate anything. They kind of go along with whatever's happening at that time. And they take a lot of orders. They're passive. Girls are acted upon. They're not the actors. You're the actor. So you have to realize that like pretty much everything she's doing, if she can get it done, is pretty much pre-scripted, pre-done, and then she kind of like has to react to like whatever's happening that day. And as Bunny says, they're not have to, they're want to. And they usually don't want to do a lot because they lean towards, lazy. The less I do, the better. Just know that. Just know that she doesn't have an interesting life like you do. She can't make it interesting, but you can make it interesting for her. When she's around you, it's interesting. It's exciting. There's things being done. He's a funny guy. He's got a lot of energy because they don't bring any of this to the table, and that's okay. That's not their job. Their job is to look good and to show up, and that's it. And after that, and it's like some guys, I say, the 2 rules for a woman, what's her job on a meetup is to look hot and to show up. And everything else is negotiable. And a lot of guys do put in like to be pleasant, but girls kind of consider that to be negotiable, if they're going to be pleasant or not. So you have to be wary of that. But again, girls, it's very simple stuff. They look good, they show up. That's why they're so flaky. You can maybe only get them to look good. That's it. So know that girls live extremely, extremely passive, boring lives that they're acted upon. And you are the most interesting thing she'll see all day. That's why less is more. A little bit of interest, kind of let her know what's going on, then let her go. Because it's in her imagination where she's thinking about you. She's wondering what you're doing. She's wondering what you're involved in, who you're talking to, where you're at, that her attraction for you will grow. Girls become attracted to men when they're not in their presence. It's when they're away from you. So you got to give them some time to think about you. And that is important because girls do live very boring lives. You got to remind yourself of that. Sometimes they're not living like we live. So yeah, anytime a girl gives you like